All right, I am driving a car that is not my own, and I'm driving an estate that is also not my own. Every now and then I get to do some trips for work, and I always try to rent something different while I'm out and about that I can't normally get my hands on when I'm home, and go to a car meet if I can to see what the car scene is like in different places. I've done, last one I went to was in San Diego. This time we are in the Chicago area. I'm actually in Elgin, Illinois. There's a car meet out here tonight, and I am driving a 2022 Lexus IS350 F Sport. So I really wanted to rent something different than the normal BMWs and stuff that I'm in, because I'd like to try other stuff out. It's a car that I don't normally ever get to see or have the opportunity to drive, so I really wanted to test one out. The gearhead in me wants to compare this to the M340i BMW and the Audi S4, and you really can't compare it to those. This is actually priced a lot less. This is more along the lines of like a 330 or an A4 in terms of price and performance. The M340i is going to blow its doors off. This does have a great engine, the 3.5 liter V6. You find these in the Lotuses. This has 311 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, and it has a really great power delivery, and it sounds awesome, much better than the A4 and the 330i, in my opinion. Naturally aspirated sounds great. The downside, though, is it's 3,800 plus pounds, and that really slows the car down. Now, this one is actually a rear-wheel drive model, so maybe it's a little less in weight, but they do a 14-second quarter mile at like 100 miles an hour, which is right there with what the BMW 330i does. So it's about as quick as that. If you can get past that, though, the rest of this car is phenomenal. The first thing I noticed getting in it is it has vented seats. And these seats are super comfortable and more hugging and more form-fitting than just about every other seat that I've got that you could get in a BMW that's not an M car. That's saying a lot. If you're looking for a great way to support our channel, check out lowboostfilms.com. Not only does this support the channel, but you'll look great while you do it as well. We have a great selection of different types of apparel and merchandise that you guys can buy. I also have a selection of car parts and tools that we've reviewed on the channel that we know work well for sale on there as well at a good price, so make sure you check it out. Lexus does a great job at managing performance characteristics while still having a comfortable ride. This actually has a sporty feel to it, but it does not feel as stiff as a BMW would. Maybe feels a little bit more like an Audi. It's comfortable. You definitely have more body roll, but that's kind of the trade-off that you get when you're looking for a luxury sports car. It has like a haptic touchpad on the right. That way you don't have to touch anything else. You can just have your hand right down below your side. The screen on this is also completely touch screen. I think that's new for this generation. So you could just touch the screen if you really want to and do it. It's got great steering wheel controls. The steering wheel itself is okay. It's typical. It gives me like just high-end Toyota vibes. Obviously, that's what it is. The AC vents are round, which gives me some Supra vibes for sure. This color combination in this car is probably exactly what I would want to order. It's a white exterior, black interior with white seats, and it looks great. Three main modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport, all are very different. The steering feels similar in all of them, but the pedal delivery of power is what really changes it. So you definitely notice it. I'm driving it around in Sport, and actually Sport is pretty good to drive in without even working the paddles. It's pretty responsive. It'll downshift quickly for you, so if you don't want to mess with the paddles, you don't have to. I like shifting with paddles, but we're sitting in traffic right now, so I don't really feel like doing that, which is cool to be able to switch back and forth. And part of the reason why the car probably weighs as much as it does is the sound deadening in this thing is phenomenal. I mean, I could probably hear fireworks going off outside, and I probably would barely hear it. The sound deadening in this car is really good, but I think that's part of the reason why it weighs so much, is because it's really good sound deadening. Interior-wise, I feel like this is vastly superior to almost everything else that's out there right now in terms of seat comfort, just ergonomics inside. I didn't really have to fumble around to find anything really in the car. It was all right there for me. The haptic pad is pretty neat, although the touchscreen still works fine if you just want to do that. Interior on this definitely, I think, is a tick up over what I would normally see in a similarly priced BMW. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of BMW looks nowadays, and the Audis look good. I kind of think this car looks better than all of those. I mean, the body lines are great. It's got that really nice neon, or the lighting in the back goes across the whole back of the car. It's very unique. If you want to buy something to stick out from some of those other regular traffic-ish cars, this actually might not be a bad idea. And they're priced pretty for what they are. $47,000 for one of these things. If you don't care about being the fastest guy on the street, get this car, because it's going to give you, you're going to have a ton of fun in it, and it's still going to be a ripper, and you can have a lot of fun with it. You can also get in a lot of trouble too. This, and it definitely in the rain right now, I'm not, without even trying, you just mash the gas in sport mode, you'll kick the traction control on. So if you take the traction control off, this thing will go sideways real fast. So you definitely want to be careful. Obviously, they're on all-season tires. In the dry, it hooked up fine. But yeah, in the rain here, it definitely got a little squirrely really easily, which is cool. All in all, my take on the IS350 F Sport is that for the money, it is a very, very good car. If that's what you want, this is definitely going to be the car for you. If you want something that's very stiff and has a lot of big aftermarket, support, this is not the car for you. There's just not as big of an aftermarket support, and with naturally aspirated cars, outside of throwing a supercharger on this thing, you're not going to be able to remake a ton more power, and I'm sure a supercharger upgrade for this car is very expensive. So that said, if that's what you want, definitely look at getting a Lexus IS350 F Sport. So that being said, just to totally wrap this up, if you don't want to heavily modify a car like you would with like a B58 540i or the new M340i, where you can make 100+ wheel horsepower with just bolt-ons, you don't care about that, the IS350 F Sport is a lot less expensive and really, really nice looking. Modifications I would do to one if I bought one, definitely lower just a hair, maybe a ½ inch, maybe get some nice wheels for it to make it stick out, and get a different exhaust to really hear that V6 roar, because it's pretty muffled. Even though it sounds pretty good from in the cockpit, on the outside of the car, it's muffled. A nice exhaust would really wake that thing up. That's all I would do to it. And I wouldn't care if it made a ton of power, because it's not really what the car is made for. If you want to do that, you would, buy the ISF that I think has a V8 engine. So if you're not into that, that's what you should do. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this car, if you think I should do some more car reviews similar to this, and also hit the subscribe button, because I have videos on my 540i, and I have a whole slew of videos on my BMW E36 that I turbo LS swapped. I did a full video series on that. Thank you guys for watching. In the meantime, check these videos out that I already have ready to go.